Relieve post-surgery pain and swelling with the Breg Polar Care Cube system. In this video, we're going to take you through usage, setup, and maintenance for a smooth recovery. Now, let's get started. Today, we're going to show you what's inside the box for your Breg Polar Care Cube system. First thing you need to do when you get your box is look at the label and make sure that you did get the correct cooler. Once you've done that, let's go ahead and open the box. So we're going to cut along the tape in the front, cut along the tape in the back. Now, before you cut along the middle, raise up the box just a little bit because you don't want to cut into the hosing on the cooler. So raise your box up and then just gently cut across the top here. Once you open the box, the first thing you should see is this paper here. This is a skin warning, and it serves as a reminder to never put the pad directly on your skin. You always need to have a barrier, whether it be a piece of clothing or a sterile dressing. Next, if you ordered a pad with your system, your pad will be inside the box. So pull out your pad and again, look at the label and make sure that it is the pad that you ordered. Please check that before you open the bag, because once you open the sealed bag, the pad is not returnable. So always double check that you got the correct item. Once you've done that, you are ready to pull out your cooler. Now, inside the box, right up front, you're going to find the power supply for your cooler. So definitely pull that out, make sure it's inside your box. And then once you've got the cooler out, if you turn it around on the back side here, you should see the instructions for use. That just tells you how to use your cooler. Now that you've made sure that everything you ordered is in the box, you're ready to use your system. Now that you've made sure everything you ordered is in the box, we're ready to set our Breg Polar Care Cube cooler up for use. So you can use either freezer bags, ice cubes, or frozen water bottles. If you choose to use frozen water bottles, make sure you remove all of the glue and label before you put the bottles in the cooler. You don't want those to deteriorate and get caught inside your cooler. We're going to use freezer bags. We also sell these freezer bags, and they are very convenient. They come with instructions, and if you see here, you fill it to this line. You don't want to fill it all the way because when it freezes, it's going to expand. So you fill them to the line, put them in the freezer. Once they're frozen, remove them and add them to your cooler. So our freezer bags are now frozen. We're going to take them, add them inside of the cooler. Once you've got your freezer bags, water bottles, or ice cubes in here, then you're ready to fill it with water. And if you need to get the water colder faster, you can also throw some ice cubes on top of the freezer bags. So take your cooler, put it in the sink, and start filling it. Once you've filled the cooler with water to the water line, and you'll see that there is a sticker inside the cooler showing you where to fill it to, you are ready to apply your lid. So go ahead, stick the lid on, and then pull the handle back to lock it into place. And now you're ready to apply your pad. Today, we're going to show you how to apply the multi-use pad for the Breg Polar Care Cube system. The multi-use pad is a good option if you're a more petite person and the regular pads might be a little too big for you. You can also use the multi-use pad on various areas like your shoulder, your knee, your hip, and so on. Today, we're going to apply it to the knee. So the first thing you want to do before you apply your pad is make sure you have a barrier in place. You can use a sterile dressing, which we do sell on our site, and there are specific sterile dressings for each of the pads, or you can put it over a piece of clothing, which is what I'm going to do today. So before we put the pad on, we need to go ahead and attach our straps. So with the multi-use pad, the straps are different sizes. So we're going to take the longer strap and apply it up here on the portion that's going to go over the thigh. And then we're going to take the smaller strap and apply it at the bottom portion. So take the pad, I'm putting this larger part over my thigh, bring your strap around. Now this one you might have to wrap around a couple of times, but the reason for that long strap is so that you can use this pad on like your hip or your shoulder. Once you've got that strap attached, take the bottom one, bring it around, and attach it. And of course, you can adjust them if you need them looser or tighter. Once you've got your pad securely in place, we're going to take the hose from the pad and connect it to the hose from the cooler. Now, before you do that, you need to press down these two metal tabs. Now, once you hear that click, that lets you know that the hoses are secure. Once you've done that, plug your power supply into the wall, and then take this end and plug it in to the back of your cooler. Now, as you're using the system, you will want to check your skin regularly for any signs of redness or irritation. And your healthcare provider may give you a regimen, which of course, if they do, you always want to follow the advice of your healthcare provider. However, if not, the rule of thumb is 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. Also, for optimum use, make sure that your cooler is somewhat level with the body part that you're treating. Once you've completed your therapy, you're going to want to disconnect the power supply from the back of the cooler, unplug it from the wall. Then you're going to want to disconnect your hoses, press down on these metal tabs, which will release the hoses, and you might see a few drops of water come out when you disconnect. That's completely normal. After that, go ahead and remove your pad. And the next video, we're going to show you how to clean and sanitize your cooler before storing it away once you're finished with your therapy.
Quick reminder, if you find the video helpful, please subscribe to our channel or think about giving us a like. It's a simple, free way to support us, and it helps us create content for you. Also, you can purchase the products featured in the video directly from our YouTube store. Now let's get back to the review.
Now that you have finished using your Breg Polar Care Cube system, we need to drain and sanitize your system. If you're going to continue to use it, all you really need to do is drain the water out and wipe the pad down with the Clorox wipe. However, if you are totally finished with it, follow these steps so that you can clean it, sanitize it, and then store it away. So, first thing you need to do is go ahead and remove your freezer bags or your frozen water bottles, whichever you were using, and make sure you disconnect your power supply. Then drain your water out. So we've done that. Our cooler is empty. Now we are actually going to refill it with warm water so that we can get ready to sanitize. So take your cooler, stick it in the sink, and fill it to the water line located inside of the cooler with warm water. Once you have filled your cooler to the water line with warm water, we need to add our next ingredient. So you can either sanitize it using a half a cup of vinegar, or you can use a half a cup of bleach. We are going to use vinegar for our cleaning process. So you're going to take your measuring cup, fill it up to a half a cup. Once you get it to a half a cup, go ahead and pour it into your warm water. Next, put your lid back on. Lock it into place. Plug in your power supply and let it run for about 10 minutes. Now that your system has run for 10 minutes, we're ready to go ahead and empty it out and dry it. So, as always, remove your power supply, unlock the lid, and before we empty the cooler, you're going to want to go ahead and hold up your pad while still connected. This just allows as much water as possible to drain out of the pad through the hose and back into the cooler. This just helps to get as much water out of the pad as possible. Once you've done that, we can go ahead and disconnect the pad. Press down on the two metal tabs and separate the hoses. Take your pad over to the sink, and you're going to kind of roll your pad, which is going to help push as much water as possible down into the hose. Then take your finger and press the bottom of the pad. You'll see these two black tabs. When you depress them, it helps to release the water, as you can see. Once you've done that, we can go and drain the cooler. So remove our lid and take your water and pour it out into the sink. Once you've emptied the cooler, please make sure that you also take off this end cap, and you'll see a little filter in here. It's important to also rinse that out to keep it clean as well. And remember that regular maintenance is key for optimal performance from your system. After you've drained all the water out, take a Clorox wipe, cleaned off your pad, then take some paper towels or a dry towel and dry out your cooler. Then you're ready to store your system. Now that you know how to use your Breg Polar Care Cube system, click on the next video to learn how to apply all of the pads for the Cube system. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more recovery tips. Now, let's get back to living.